Warhammer The Old World has had a phenomenal 2025. I really don't think there's any other way to put it. And I think 2026 could be even better. So in 2025, on the model front, we've seen not one, but two waves of Cathay announced. I don't think that's been seen for any other model or Warhammer line ever, as far as I'm aware. We've had the final 3 core armies join the Rangers as well, starting off with the High Elves, then the Beastmen, and finally the Wood Elf. We've had completely out of the blue resculpts for the Chaos Marauders and Marauder Horsemen, as well as the Tomb Kings with the Tomb Prince and Leech Priest models. We've also had a bunch of Arcane Journals announced. Now, not just the ones for the core factions, but ones outside of that. There's been the War of Cetra's Fury, the one for the Cathay, which I've completely forgotten the name of, as well as the more recent Raising of the Westerlands. These have all added extra rules, as well as a bunch of core new items in the Raising of the Westerland, a whole new army in the Renegade Crowns, as well as a bunch of new narrative missions and lore as well. We had a massive 1.5 edition FAQ drop in the summer. And if you're a competitive player, you got the matched play guide. This tightened up scenarios and gave TOs like a baseline to work. And if you're into narrative like I am, there's a whole new Path to Glory rule set for us to dig our teeth into. I'm just waiting to pick up my copy of the new Arcane Journal for me to kind of look and review and see what's going on with it. And that's just been stuff that's been officially released. Over on like community made stuff and like here on YouTube, it's been wild. Just from my side, I helped organize a slow grow escalation league at Bad Moon Cafe and Holloway Road. We sold out pretty much every event. It was running every 2 weeks for like 4 months, like sell out every single time. It blew everyone's minds. Old World content on YouTube has literally exploded. There are loads of like specific channels now just for Old World stuff, both small content creators and like medium to big ones as well. The Dons over at Square Based have released, not only a new wave of Renegade faction lists that have just kind of become the de facto rule set for playing legacy factions. They've also announced the Square-based comp rule set, which is, I have my thoughts about, but it's still very, very cool. That's everything I can think of. I'm sure I have missed some stuff. If you think I've missed anything, then please post it in the comments below. Obviously, just a massive shout out to everyone that is playing the game. If you're just painting models and miniatures, posting stuff on all of the different social media stuff, going to your local gaming store and just like literally playing the game. Freaking amazing. And that's been 2025. Like, this is our 2nd year of Old World. What's coming in the 3rd one? What do we actually know? What looks likely? And what's just wild speculation? So, like, obviously, I would say that there are going to be more Arcane Journals. Like, I would imagine a non-army specific one every quarter, maybe even more sooner. We might even see more core specific ones. Like, we've had a 2nd one for Cathay, as well as the Raising of the Westerlands, which is kind of just more stuff for the Chaos factions, as well as like other armies as well. So we could potentially see every core army get a kind of new related Arcane Journal. There's loads of storylines to follow up on. What's happening in the Border Princes? What's going on with the Orcs and Kicknick Tooth Snatcher? What's going on between the Beastmen and the Empire and the Wood Elves over in Laurelorn Forest? There's loads of different bits going on. I'm not even sure what the High Elves are doing. What are they up to? So yeah, expect loads more Arcane Journals and loads of new ways to play your army. I would expect more Armies of Infamy in those books. Personally, just for me, I would hope for like Laurelorn Forest Eonir list for the Wood Elves that could potentially be like a blend of tree spirits and maybe high elf units, because like the Eonir have a bit more kind of heritage in Ulthuan as opposed to the Aserai, which have kind of gone off and done their own thing. So we could see like a list come out like that, which would be really, really cool, and a really fun way to play Wood Elves.
It would also give Games Workshop an excuse to do a made-to-order run of this super old Wood Elf chariot.
Obviously, we're going to get more stuff for Cathay. Like, we haven't actually received like the new book for them or the new miniatures, so that is definitely going to come, I would imagine, in 2026, unless it makes like a real last minute appearance at the tail end of 2025 over the next couple of weeks. We also know rules wise that we're going to get an FAQ drop at the end of January. So whilst we don't know what's in it, I think we can take a few educated guesses at what's going to change. I wouldn't expect a huge amount to actually change inside the FAQ that will affect Cathay per se. I would imagine that there's going to be a bunch of restrictions placed on the updated Grand Army list that's going to come in their Arcane Journal. It has been kind of hilarious seeing the amount of balloons that have been popping up on tables everywhere. I imagine the Nerf bat is going to come and hit that pretty hard in that Arcane Journal.
Humanity! Anyway.
Other places that I think are going to get nerfs, I would imagine something is going to come along for the undead, with regeneration being allowed on unstable rolls. I think there's going to be a little fix on that, because that has made, like, alongside that and the parry ability, it has made just blocks of skeleton warriors in like the Tomb Kings and in vampire counts. It has made them like almost kind of unplayable to kind of play against, because they've been that oppressive. And then of course there will just be something that will happen to the Wood Elves. We'll get a nerf out of somewhere, because what the hey, it's happened in every single one so far. But seriously, actually on the Wood Elves, I would like to see some points adjustments for things like Glade Guard and Eternal Guard, just to make them a little bit more playable. That would be quite nice to see. I would also kind of expect a tweak to Magic. I think, you know, Magic was really, really, really powerful early in the first year and a half of the old world. So I think, however, that what they've done and the changes that they made to it have maybe made it a little too underpowered. So I would expect some form of tweak just to kind of like bring it and make it a bit more usable. And I think Chaos is probably going to get a little slap on the wrist as well. I had seen at the War in the Old World Bad Moon Cafe tournament that just happened the weekend just gone that I'm recording this, that there were a bunch of people playing Chaos Sorcerers on dragons. So I think that is probably going to come under the Nerf bat as well, or at least I would expect it to. However, that is all pure speculation. We don't know what is due to come under the hammer or what is due to change. That's kind of just my guesses. It would be nice to see some kind of changes to long range shooting, but that's the only other thing that I can kind of think of, and that's purely a Wood Elf thing. I know that other shooting factions like the Dwarfs have quite powerful guns, so I don't know how you would balance that unless you kind of made some changes to the Wood Elves. Okay, so that's kind of all of the rules stuff that we kind of know about. What do we know is coming for models? And what's quite likely and what's really speculative. So I think we know, due to a leak, that there is a brand new battalion box coming for the Tomb Kings. Looks like a pretty good start for any kind of Tomb Kings player, or if you just want to expand your force. Actually, I think it's a pretty decent stuff as well. That will probably become a mainstay release, like all of the other battalion boxes. If we're getting one of those for the Tomb Kings, I would likely expect to see one for the Bretonnians as well. Speaking of the Bretonnians, and something that is a little not quite speculation, but we're going to take an educated guess. And I have also heard some like kind of chatter and talk from people that are potentially in the know that something might be going on with the Bretonnians, particularly some of the metal horse ranges. So like the Grail Knights and maybe the Questing Knights and other bits and bobs like that could potentially be getting a refresh as well, which would be really cool. I would expect as well to get miniature releases for things that we don't currently have access to, gaps in model ranges. Like I know, again, for the Wood Elves, I'll stop talking about them eventually, that there is no current model available for a battle standard bearer one. I've had to kind of kit bash my own, which is fine. I love kit bashing, but other people might not like kit bashing as much. So, there's gaps like that across the range. Like the Bretonnians, I know is like it's quite difficult. Like there isn't even like a hippogriff model that you can get, and that is like the only monster access that you have in the Bretonnians, and there's no hippogriff model available at the moment for the Bretonnians. So it would be cool to see something like that. And there are loads of pockets of this stuff across all of the different factions in the old world. I see lots of rumor spam as well that there is more stuff coming for Chaos too, more Chaos Warriors and Chaos Knights. That'll be awesome if we do get new Chaos kits there as well to refresh those ranges. And then the other one that we know is coming at some point, it was just postponed due to reasons. Kislev, maybe they will land in the second half of 2026. I think if they're going to come this edition, I think it is kind of likely that we'll see them maybe this year, now that Cathay is like pretty much all out. Although I have heard rumors that there are some new bits coming for Cathay as well. So maybe we're not even finished with the Cathay range, which leads us quite nicely into wild speculation. Everyone keeps talking about a Chaos Mammoth. So from what I've heard and from various rumor threads, the old Forge World Mammoth model is, well, the mold for it is like broken or lost or something like that. So if there is a Chaos Mammoth one in the works, it will be like totally a new kit. Although I've not heard anything reliable. It's just other people are talking about it. So I guess we'll see if a Mammoth does come. I think more likely that we would see would be and this is wild speculation time as well, would be a Chaos twin-headed dragon. There has been lots of like kind of artwork across all of the Chaos kind of stuff showing distinct twin-headed dragons everywhere. It is a massive gap in the range. We know that they are super popular with players as well, and loads of other kind of things have come in to fill that space. So it's a gap in their range. I think they would want to fill that as quickly as possible. It could be very, very interesting to see if they made that as a dual kit where you have, say, a big named character, maybe Asavar Kull, riding a twin-headed Chaos Dragon. But it's kind of, I think, a decent educated guess if I do big myself up. But what do you think is coming in 2026? Do you think we might at the tail end get rumors of a second edition? I don't necessarily think at this point in time we need a second edition, but it would be quite nice to see like a refreshed core rulebook with all of the updates and all of the errata inside. I reference the core book all of the time. I find it really, really helpful personally. And there's a bunch of stuff obviously now that has changed. So, I just get confused. But that's me because I'm a dope half the time. Thank you very much for watching the channel this year. And thank you for supporting the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. If you'd like to become a member or patron, you can do so for £3 a month. It massively helps the channel out. Thank you to everyone that is a Patreon subscriber or YouTube member so far as well. It's awesome to see so many people like kind of backing the channel. If you want to like kind of get any old world stuff as well, you can do so via Wayland Games. If you purchase anything over £20, you'll get it sent to you for free, which is just awesome. I don't know of any other kind of shop in the UK that does free packaging at such a low kind of price point for Warhammer stuff. I've got a link below. If you do that, it gives me a little bit of kickback. It's awesome. Thank you again for watching. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.